Hey everyone, hello and welcome. It is Madeline here, and today we are talking about karma, another one of my favorite topics. And I've been posting this week about how karma is about action and you reap what you sow. And I think we all know that. So what we're going to talk about today is a little different from that. But first of all, I want to be clear on what karma is, okay? And what it isn't. Okay, so karma, I think we've all heard the statement that karma is a bitch, right? So I'm here to stick up for karma and let you know that karma is neutral, okay? She's only a bitch if you are. Hey, Josie, good to see you, my love. So I've been thinking about you. So, right, so karma is a Sanskrit word, and Sanskrit is an ancient language just like Greek or Latin, okay? And loosely translated, it just means action, right? And it represents the principle of cause and effect, which is that for every action, there is a force, energy, and like kind, right? So for everything you do, there is a response for everything that you do, okay? So cause and effect. And I also posted this week that, like whatever is going on in your life now is a result of choices that you have made in the past, right? That have resulted in your current situation. So one of my Facebook friends said, you know what, Madeline, I don't believe that. And how do you explain terrible things that happen to people? And she described one that I'm not going to share with you because I want this to be uplifting. And I think I'm going to address that tomorrow. We're not going to talk about that today, okay? But we're going to, not tomorrow, next week, right? So we're not going to talk about that. Love you, Josie. We'll talk about that next week in regards to the law of attraction. But today, I want to talk about karma as it relates. So that's it, right? So karma is action. It's the principle of cause and effect. The other side of karma, right, that is not really known to, it's not commonly known anyway, but in the Vedic tradition, of which I am a student, and I'm a student of many traditions, by the way. In the Vedic tradition, karma is also how we refer to our conditioning, right? Who we are. It's the software or our programming of the soul, okay? Or again, our conditioning, our habits, our beliefs. If you don't like the word soul, right? You can say our conditioning, our habits, our values, even, right? That deep programming that's deep within that we are often unconscious of. And there is the key, right? So, and many of us are asleep to our karma, asleep to our programming, but I want to wake you up today, okay? So asleep, if the sleep doesn't resonate with you, a term that I hear from my clients on a regular basis is, I'm on autopilot, right? You're just going through the motions, going to work, you're with your family and friends, and you're just going through the motions and you're not really getting a lot of joy out of life, right? One day just blends into the next and there's really nothing particularly special or joyful about it, right? That's because you are asleep to your karma or you're on autopilot, right? And let's talk about that a little bit. And let's go back to an infant, right? An infant comes into the world joyful, bubbling with bliss, and open to the joy around it, right? Everything is exciting and fascinating and new and full of wonder, right? I really want you to hone in on the word wonder, right? And then our conditioning begins. Oh, my corporate friends are on the line, by the way, as usual. I'm always happy to have my corporate friends on the line with me, right? So babies are filled with wonder, okay? And then they're just perfect, right? Like and I know that there are extenuating circumstances where, babies come into the world with challenges. But let's talk about in general, right? In general, babies are perfect, joyful, and bubbling with bliss, right? That's what the universe intends. Anyway, and then our conditioning begins. Our programming begins. The programming of our karma begins, right? And we learn pretty quickly, don't we, that if we cry a certain way, mommy or daddy will come running to feed us, change us, or love us, right? That's right. And then we start to grow up and we evolve into little people and then adolescents, and we start to learn that we need to behave a certain way in order to gain approval of our peers and our superiors, right? Our friends, our family. We have to behave a certain way in order to gain approval or praise from mommy and daddy, right? Maybe that's do well in school. Or on a sports team. These days, all of the above, right? Children have a lot going on these days. And, and then we grow up and this expands into our peer group, our colleagues, our teachers in higher education, in life, our mentors, and our colleagues. We need to behave a certain way. And a lot of this is happening subconsciously, right? In our karma, at the level of our karma, and we're not really aware of it, right? We need to behave a certain way in order because we want to fit in and we want to be accepted by the people in our community who are important to us, and not being accepted by them or being rejected by them is painful, right? And so our karma begins, and along the way, we develop beliefs about how we need to be in order to fit in and to feel good and gain pleasure. The way the Vedic tradition describes karma is in way of a circle, right? Which is why I often wear circular jewelry to remind me of karma. And that is that we take an action, right? Well, back to those actions. We take an action and that leads to a memory, right? That leads to a memory. And then that memory leads to the desire to avoid pain or gain pleasure, right? So the memory is either painful or pleasurable, right? And then that memory is going to move us into either wanting to repeat it, right? Either wanting to repeat the action or to avoid the action, right? So, and a lot of people are asleep. So back to where we started, a lot of people are asleep to this cycle. And this is how we get on autopilot, right? And we end up just going through the motions, reacting to what life seems to be handing us instead of being empowered by our life circumstances, taking charge of our minds and therefore our actions. And hey, Chucky, good to see you, my trainer brother. And therefore being in charge of our life, right? So let me repeat that, right? Taking charge of our minds, therefore our actions, and therefore our lives, right? But again, most of us, many of us, almost everybody I talk to is stuck in the cycle of karma, right? And they're asleep to this pattern and they're just going through the motions and not really consciously taking charge of taking charge of their lives. Thank you, Chucky. Aloha, my brother. So, and what does this look like, right? How does this manifest in your life? So almost everyone that I talk to has a health or a weight issue, right? So they're not at the weight that they want. They're overweight, and as a result, they have health issues. Or they're overweight and they just don't feel good, right? It doesn't feel good to carry around extra weight. At a minimum, everyone, 100% of the people I talk to and the people I work with have energy levels that are below what they need in order to live life joyfully, right? In order to have a successful workday, in order to have enough energy to exercise, be mindful about what they eat, and to have fun with their friends and family after work hours, okay? And they're stuck in the cycle and they tell me, Madeline, I know what I need to do, right? I know what I need to do in order to feel better, but I just can't do it. They're stuck in their karma. They're stuck in their emotional baggage. More on that in a moment. Or maybe you're healthy, right? Maybe you're healthy. You don't really have a weight problem or health issues, although you probably have a health issue. And now we know that 85% of our health issues are self-imposed, right? And that's not blame, but it's pointing out that our health issues have a lot to do with the way that we live our lives, what we think, what we eat, and what we take in, right? Aside from food, what we take in, media, news, and people who we choose to spend time with, right? And whose energy we wish to engage, okay? Or so if health is not an issue, the second biggest concept that I hear from people that I talk to on a regular basis is their career, right? The work that they do. Either they hate their jobs or their business is not serving them the way that they want to, or they're working way too much and they're not enjoying it, right? So if you're a CEO, president of a company, or a division head, I hear a lot from a business owner. I hear a lot from my leaders in business that I'm working way too much. I'm doing way too much. I'm in the weeds, right? And if you are a leader, you know that you should be doing less and delegating more, but they don't know how to do that. They're stuck in their karma, right? They're stuck in their karma, and they're stuck in their cycle, in their baggage. And then we learn how to do that. I show them how to do that easily and effortlessly. And then there's relationships, right? And so this is actually, career and relationships are usually the primary factors of the people that I work with. And then, health is usually a byproduct. Once we figure these out, health usually falls into place, right? So either you're in a relationship that doesn't serve you, right? Or that you're with, that you're with the right person, you've been married a long time, but it's normal to, hey Maurice, good to see you, thanks for joining. Or that you're with your life partner, but the passion is gone, right? So here's where the limiting beliefs come in, right? Here's where the limiting beliefs come in. It's normal for the passion and fire to fade away after you've been married for a while or together for a while, right? No. Or if you are alone, right, and feeling lonely, I'm hearing from a lot of the people that I talk to on a daily basis that I'm lonely, right? I don't have the close relationships in my life that I would like to. What's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. Your karma is out of whack, right? Your conditioning is out of whack. Or I know that I'm in a relationship that I shouldn't be in, right? But I don't know how to get out. I don't know how to get out. Or what if I get out and then I'm alone, right? Like how often have we heard that this devil is better, the devil that you do know is better than the devil that you don't know. So you stay in the relationship because you're afraid of not finding someone better. Or you think that this is the best I can do. Or you think I'm too old, right? I'm too old to find new love and romance in my life. All of that is bullshit, my darlings, right? It's all bullshit. That's just bogus karma, bogus conditioning, bogus limiting beliefs. And I also want to speak to a young friend of mine, right? A young friend of mine has recently told me that her lover, she's in a relationship with her lover. It's a good relationship, but he has said to her, I'm never getting married, right? I'm never getting married because you know what? My parents had a tumultuous relationship. It was an ugly divorce. It was traumatic for me to witness as a child. So I'm just telling you right now, I'm never getting married, okay? If you're down with that, right, we can hang out. But otherwise, I just want you to know that that's baggage. Right? That's baggage, that's limiting beliefs, and that's keeping him potentially from a different level of relationship, a higher level of relationship that would really allow him to soar and flourish and really experience the love that he's meant to. Not that I'm saying everyone has to get married, but clearly that's a block and a limiting belief for him. And we can understand how he could come to have that limiting belief. And what the point that I want to make today is that I want you to become aware, right? I want us to wake up today and become aware of these limiting beliefs. And what are the limiting beliefs that you are experiencing today, right? If you want to put them in the chat, let me know. And, or you can private message me, but that's really a rhetorical question for you. I want you to think about, does any of that sound familiar? And can you relate, can you resonate with any of that or some of that and think, yeah, I do that too, or I have health or weight issues, or I'm not really feeling my career, my job, what have you, how can I change it, right? And I kind of feel stuck and like I can't change it, right? So step one is waking up, right? Is waking up to our karma and realizing that although our karma is our programming, right? It's the software, it's the programming of our soul, of our spirit, our conditioning, the software of our being, whatever word you like or resonates with you, we can reprogram it. That's the good news today, right? Is that we can reprogram it. And it doesn't take years and years and years, right? If you know the proper tools, we can reprogram it. For example, if you were to hang out with me, we could reprogram it in a few hours and then install new beliefs and habits in a few weeks. The work that I do is really super fantastic. It's really amazing and it is magical, but I'll get back to that. So so you're waking up, right? So you're already waking up because you're coming to meetings like this. So I applaud you and I am honored to be here with you today, right? So you're waking up because you're bringing this into your awareness, okay? And then how do you perpetuate that awareness? With meditation, right? Specifically a silent mantra-based meditation, which I teach. And I also did a video, what is meditation, in recent weeks. So if you don't know how to meditate, I think that's like a 5 or 7 minute meditation video, and you can be on your way meditating in a few minutes, right? So meditation is going to expand your awareness, and as you go through life, you'll become more aware of these sort of ideas, beliefs, and roadblocks that are keeping you stuck or between you and the extraordinary life that you are meant to live. Because yes, you are meant to live an extraordinary life. That's what our Creator intends for each and every one of us. And each and every one of us has the ability to live an extraordinary life. You've just got to do the work, right? You've just got to do the work and do what it takes in order to get you there. Okay, so meditation is step number 1. Meditation will allow you to then make conscious choices. Okay, and I'm not going to lie, right? So I did this work on my own. It took me years to get to a level of awareness where I finally felt I was in control of my life, right? And rewired my brain and reprogrammed my being. Okay, it doesn't have to take years. Well, if you want to do it on your own and you can be consistent and disciplined with a regular meditation practice, regular meditation practice is the gateway to good behaviors and habits. But you've got to be disciplined and dedicated and devoted to your expansion, growth, well-being, success, and living an extraordinary life. And in my experience, most people don't have the ability to reach that level on their own, okay? Which is why I offer the free breakthrough call, so you can get on the phone with me and we'll talk about what's going on with you, how you want your life to be, and if I can help you get there, I'll show you how. But I'm getting ahead of myself, right? So the third step is rewire your brain, okay? So, and meditation can help rewire your brain. Again, it takes years. Could you have a quantum shift and become enlightened all of a sudden, and all of a sudden everything is clear for you? Absolutely, it happens. It's very rare based on my understanding, but I understand that it happens. That's not what happened to me. It took me years to get to a level of awareness where I feel like I am in control of my mind and therefore my life. Do I get taken out by bullshit on a regular basis? Sure, of course I do. I'm human, but the key is now I recover quickly. I don't live there anymore, right? I don't live in drama. I don't live in anxiety. I don't live in overwhelm anymore. I don't live in depression anymore. I don't live in sadness, anger, resentment, all those negative emotions. I used to live in those places. I think I'm going to tell you my story in the coming weeks. I promised my story a little while back, but I'm going to tell it in the coming weeks. So I don't live there anymore. And I did that I was able to make this change by meditation, which leads to making conscious choices, being aware of what you're doing as opposed to just going on autopilot. Let me tell you a story about autopilot. Okay, when I was in corporate, I used to work for an organization that had several operating units, right? We had several hospitals and medical facilities, and I used to work on one campus, but I used to teach a yoga class on Tuesday nights, I think, on another campus, right? So, and I did this for a couple of years. I taught this class for two or yeah, maybe 2 or 3 years. And so every Tuesday night, I would leave my office and go across town to the campus on the other side of town to teach. My yoga class was one of the highlights of my week. And one night in particular, right, I leave my office and I'm driving to the other campus to my yoga class, and I'm thinking about the yoga class and the sequence that I'm going to teach that night, right? So I'm running through the sequence in my mind, and then about 10 minutes into my commute, I realize I am on the road home. I'm heading home, which is in the opposite direction of the yoga class, right? What happened? Autopilot kicked in and took me home. Even though I knew I was going to yoga class, right? Because I was thinking about the sequence I was going to teach. But autopilot kicked in and I began to drive to home. Fortunately, I caught myself before I got too far to home, and then I was able to turn around and I made it to yoga class on time, but not as early as I like to get there when I'm teaching. What are you doing on autopilot, right? I know you've done that. I know you shut off lights or leave lights on or drop, what do you do out of habit? I know that you've driven somewhere that you've driven to on a regular basis, and then you get there and you don't know how you got there, right? Like you don't remember the journey. Make sure that isn't happening to you now, that you're going to get to whatever point in your life that you are, and you don't know how you got there. You don't remember the journey, or you didn't enjoy the journey, okay? Life is meant to be lived and enjoyed. Jesus said in John 10:10, I came so that you may live, so you may have and enjoy life, right? I love all wisdom traditions. That is good wisdom. We are meant to live and enjoy life, and becoming aware is the way to do that, right? With the regular meditation practice, which will allow you to be conscious of the choices that you're making. And we also have to undo what you've done we also have to rewire the wiring that you've done up until now. Yoda also said, also good wisdom. This is good stuff here. Jesus, Yoda, good stuff. Yoda also said, we must learn. You must learn what you have. You must unlearn what you have learned, and that's exactly right. You must unlearn what you have unlearned if it is not serving you at this point in your life, and you do that by rewiring your brain. Okay, by working, you can learn how to do it on your own. You can work with someone like me, and we can get your brain rewired in a couple of days, and then reprogram it in a few weeks, okay? So, and if you'd like to talk to me about how to do that, again, I offer a free breakthrough call. It's about an hour. We'll get on the phone and we'll talk about what's going on with you, what's not working, where you're stuck, what the issue is, what you don't like about your life, and then we'll paint a crystal clear picture for a very bright future for you. And then if I can help you get there, I'll show you how, okay? And you do that by going to MadeleineCorrea.com/talk. Take you to my calendar, book a time to talk with me. I think I have a couple spots over the weekend and then next week, okay? So I hope this serves you. And I'm going to meditate on the conference line with my corporate friends. If you would like to join me in that meditation, I invite you to, thanks for the love, can't see who it is, drop some love in the chat if you would, or not. If you'd like to join us on the meditation, the conference call or the link to connect to our call is in the comments of this post, and I will look forward, again, I hope this serves you, and I will look forward to seeing you again in the next video, and until then, I will see you in the gap. Namaste. Be blessed. Mwah.